I guess that's time for intro. Welcome back to Rebel the Mist. It had to be said with Venus and my co-host Christopher Stolle.
God, someone kill me. Hi, guys.
Chris is like a walking zombie recently, so
Cast me in The Walking Dead. You don't even need makeup right now.
got the sunburn to go with it, like you just got spat out of the pits of hell.
Yeah, pretty much.
The peeling skin and everything. Yeah, it must be gorgeous.
It's beautiful. I've got flakes coming off of me to look like lay potato chips.
Ew. You should save them and like put them up on eBay. Yeah, this one's in the shape of Idaho.
Look, the Virgin Mother.
Right? If you turn this one slightly to the left, it's Pope Benedict.
Get rid of that one. It's Bernie Sanders.
Oh, ew. Yeah, his fucking pictures are coming up more and more on Facebook, eh? Like his fucking creepy pedophile children grabbing.
Well, of course
What was that one I saw today? Yeah.
Of course, this picture's
He's like at a
going up.
funeral.
Mark Zuckerberg loves the socialist movement. That's all he's going to push.
Mark Zuckerberg is a fucking tool. Legit. A puppet with a hand up his ass. And like, whose hand is up his ass? The government.
Mm-hmm.
Trudeau owns like so much of the media and stuff in Canada. It's like not even like it's no coincidence that like even the American fucking Facebook and stuff is like going so far left and everything. I mean, like he donated how much money to the Clinton Foundation?
Oh,
like
yeah.
$32 million.
Well, I mean,
they're working hand in hand. We have Obama in Canada right now.
You can keep him.
Oh, we don't want him.
We didn't want Justin Bieber, but you still stuck him with us.
At least he's got a big penis, okay?
Says who? Of course. My penis looks large in a midget's hand.
You haven't seen those pictures?
Even my penis looks large in a midget's hand.
Yeah, well, he's not circumcised, though, but, I mean, he's got a big one.
Ew. Why is it always
every girl knows this.
Why is it always the big pricks have the big pricks? Hey, wait, I'm a big prick. Hey! Mom lied.
Honestly, I don't think your testosterone even like affects your penis size at this point. Like, there's no way testosterone will actually enlarge your penis.
Well, if
this
Justin
is a myth.
If Justin Bieber's packing, that's kind of proof there that testosterone ain't got shit to do with it.
I've actually like noticed a lot more guys that are in touch more with their feminine side, or like the geeky, quiet guys and stuff. Like not the macho guys, but the like quiet, geeky guys living in their mom's basement with like Joker posters stuck up around their bedroom and Harley Quinn stuff, and like weird guys like that. Like yeah, they got the big ones, and they honestly do not seem macho whatsoever. So
Hey,
there's no.
Minute. I'm macho with my Joker and Harley Quinn pictures in my basement.
Well, what are you saying here?
but I'm not a quiet one. And I got a big dick.
I swear. Well, then.
I'm going to show you right now here on radio.
Oh my god, that reminds me of Family Guy. Like, oh, I drew pictures of us on the moon together, Lois. It was like on the phone when Lois is a sex call worker.
Right.
What was her name? Classy. And he's like, yeah, he doesn't realize that he's talking to Lois because Lois is classy, right? And oh yeah, Classy, look at this. I drew a picture of me on the moon, but you can't see it because I'm on the phone. Oh, that's wonderful, Peter.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, they're probably like one of the most epic fucking TV couples ever.
But going back to the media controlled, I mean, look at what's happening here on YouTube right now. Conservative voices are being silenced. The gay Mexican at Vox has been going through a feud with Steven Crowder. I think I sent you this, where he actually put in a complaint against Crowder and made a video wanting Crowder's channel taken down. Because all Crowder does is every time Vox puts up a video, he debunks it.
You know
You know,
what?
with
Isn't that
facts.
like, isn't that what Snopes and shit does? Like we've got the AFT in Canada censoring everything we put on Facebook now. Oh, it gets. Oh my god! So I used to bitch about this all the time. That like Snopes or something would come along and be like, if it's 1 point off, so if you misspelled a word, like you didn't put the right there, or there, then they would say that it's false because you put in the wrong context, or like just one thing off instead of correcting it or anything. So this AFT comes along. And this was so funny because I even like I bitched about this like publicly and I'm like, come at me, AFT. Like if it's wrong, how much of it is wrong? What's wrong about it? And fix it. So they actually started doing this now, which is pretty impressive. Because now it's like, well, they had, what was it? Trump donated $90 billion to Venezuela or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, and like this fact checker comes along and says, no, it's false. He did not donate $90 billion. So actually go and look it up through another fact checker, the Venezuelan president or whatever. I think it was Venezuela. Anyways, and he's like, no, we only got 13 billion or 30 billion. And I'm like, well, it's not completely wrong then. And yeah, I'm like, yes, this is how fact checkers are supposed to look. And this is what you're supposed to do once they fact check it. Is go and re-fact check it.
But people don't want to do that. Like, you know, when I report things on, and again, I'm very conservative. I mean, I always called myself right of center because I'm not as, like, far right as, you know, people are in the Midwest or down south or whatever the case may be. But whenever I reported something on the news, you know, that I saw on the news, it wasn't just that I saw it on Fox. I made sure that I saw it on Fox and I saw it on CNN, two completely different spectrums, to know that it was at least legit as opposed to being biasly branded by one side or the other. You know what I mean? And people don't want to do that. They just want to hear what they want to hear. Snopes is very liberal. So everything Snopes says to a liberal is fact. That's truth.
Now, here we're going to go right into the show tonight
Yeah.
about Snopes and their liberal truth. Snopes is actually pushing pedophilia. There was a Snopes
Snapchat.
column.
But we'll get to that.
There was a Snopes column. So if you're really using Snopes as credible fucking source, remember that they are saying that it's okay for grown-ass fucking men like Joe Biden to molest and rape your children.
Aren't they even changing the name of them? Like, they don't even want to be called pedophiles anymore. Now, like, the socially acceptable thing is, like, minor lover or something like that.
Age something attracted.
Yeah.
Age minor attracted or some shit.
Some shit
and
like that.
because they're trying to sneak in with the LGBTQ community. And the LGBTQ community praise you guys for saying, fuck this shit. We're not having it. And pedophiles are not being accepted into that community. They're not acceptable in any community. Like, who the fuck besides another pedophile is going to say that it's okay to fucking rape a child?
Look, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of some of the LGBTQ. I don't have a problem with people and how they live their lives. I have a problem with you forcing your beliefs down my throat. Okay, like with the pronoun games and everything else, you know, I don't play those games. I don't like you telling me that I'm a hateful person because I won't play those games. Look, I have an above 6th grade education. I know a he is a he and a she is a she. And even a he who wants to be a she is a she, not a he or a z or a zim or a zer or whatever other fucking made up word you have. All right. With that being said, trying to push and normalize pedophilia. In no universe is this okay. And anybody in the LGBTQ community who is allowing this, you need to reevaluate your life. Not just your sexuality, your life. Okay? Because
they're not, though.
The only people who are going to get hurt by this are the ones who don't have a say. And guess who they are? Children.
No, but they're not having it, though. They're totally like against it.
But
and even with their name change,
is pushing it. I mean, again, going back to the Snapchat thing. This month is Gay Pride, or LGBTQ Pride now, since it's not just gay people. So, excuse me, I've been out in the sun all day. So, look at Snapchat with their filter for Gay Pride, and you get to set, love. What was the phrase? Love is love, even if it's race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and then the one that raises the most eyebrows, age.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it has anything to do with the LGBTQ. Like this is like governments and stuff pushing it. Like these are like politicians pushing this. Politicians who are pedophiles. And that's still like it doesn't reflect on the LGBTQ because they're trying to push it in with them. I mean, they're supposed to be a pretty accepting group, but they're still not having that. Even like my transgender female friends are like, fuck this pedophile crap. They're not having it. Like they still got brains on their shoulders and they're pretty upset with it all.
To me,
I know like many of them that are like kill pedophiles. And you know what? That's what like a lot of people's opinion of this. Just kill pedophiles. In Yemen and Saudi Arabia, that's actually what they do is they kill pedophiles.
Right, but most of the other, you know who the biggest supporters of pedophilia is? Hate to break it to you, Muslims. Even
I know their child marriage and everything.
Well, look, I'm not trying to pick on the Muslim people, but I mean, even their prophet was a pedophile, and it's in their Quran.
Yeah, I know.
They are accepting of it. They are accepting of it, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of people have an issue with their faith. Besides the whole jihad thing, and I'm not saying everybody's like that. Don't get me wrong in this, but with the left trying to push so hard into things like Sharia law and socialism and everything else, it's not surprising they're trying to normalize child diddling. You know what?
Nope,
I'm gonna lay it out all out on the table right here. I am a father of 2 children who were molested by a babysitter. That motherfucker is serving 60 years. You know why he's serving 60 years? Because the cops got him before I did. I promise you, if I ever meet a pedophile, the last thing you're going to see is the front end of my 9mm. Like, I promise you.
Like, I hear people all the time that they want to normalize it to the point that it's accepted so that people who are pedophiles can go and seek help for pedophilia. But you know what? Like, everyone will tell you this. Like, your sexuality and your sexual orientation is not a choice. Like, you don't choose to be gay. You don't wake up and decide, yeah, I'm just going to go suck cock today. You don't choose your sexuality. Like, you cannot force, like, as a straight woman myself, like, if some woman was to, like, force herself on me, like, you can't force me to do that. I'm not interested. Like I'm into men. That's it. That's all. You can't make me change my mind. No, I'm not like some fucking spaghetti noodle that's going to get wet and go limp or whatever the fuck. But no, you don't choose that. So how the fuck can you decide that we're going to change pedophiles and their sexual orientation away from children if we start normalizing it?
Because it's not a sexual orientation. That's the first problem we have to fix right there. It is not a sexual orientation. It is a mental disorder. It is a mental disorder to think that it's okay to touch a child. That is not a sexual orientation. A sexual orientation is I like guys, or I like girls, or I like trans people, or I like amputees. I like black women. I like white women. I like black guys. I like white. These are sexual orientations. Not I like 8-year-olds. I like 3-month-olds in diapers. You're fucking sick. You're not a sexual orientation. You are fucking sick.
Like, look how many children are going missing. Like, it's fucking crazy how many Amber Alerts I'll get on my phone, like, per week. Like, there's at least one per week. Guaranteed. There's about 300 children missing in Ontario alone right now. In Calgary, they just had a bust of like 112 sex slave children. In the States, in one of the states, I can't remember which one, they had like 600 children they found, and like most of them weren't even reported missing. Like, what? Who the fuck is doing this to these children? Like your parents aren't even reporting this. Like, are these children like just born, like like made just to be sex slaves and taken from their parents like at a young age, like do their parents get paid for this shit to like fucking birth a child and sell it to in like
In some
the black market sex slave
in some countries,
in
yeah.
America?
No,
Like I'm talking America.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure they're filtering in from down south. And of course, nobody wants to talk about that. 1/3 of every person tested with with their supposed child found out they are not the parent of their child. Yeah, when nobody wants to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of other countries that happens often. Kids are bred for sex dungeons and sold off like slaves to dirty old men, and I mean, shit, over in the Orient there used to be, I don't know if it still is, I'm not going to pick on the Oriental people now, but I know back in the day there used to be a bunch of corporate business white people that would fly over from the Americas to be able to fucking prostitute out with an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah,
So
well,
they were running fucking brothels of children.
that's ridiculous. And like here, like I'm sure you could think of a state similar to this, but in Manitoba, the Children's Aid are taking like newborn babies away from capable parents, under under accusations. Okay, and these are like mostly like Native populations under accusations of a mother being drunk when she gets to the hospital to deliver her baby. An accusation, remember that, and she's going into labor and she's supposed to be drunk. And then they have parents that have like fucked up in the past, and their kids ended up in care and stuff, and they get their lives on track. And the Children's Aid will show up, and this isn't even probable cause. They'll show up hours after the baby is born, and they'll say, well, we're taking the baby from you. You're never going to see it again, blah, blah, blah. And these kids are never seen again. Like their family, like you would think they would go with their families if they're incapable parents. But no, they're taken and they're gone, and that's it.
I promise you, as a father who loves his children very much, if I was to give you an example, okay, I'm going to use an example here. If the child that Venus is with right now was mine, of course I'd be there in the delivery room for the delivery. And if the government or DHS or what child services, however they're called in Canada, tried to come and take my child over my dead body, and you better bring back up because I intend to have a high body count.
Right? Like, and you don't like, you think about it, and it's like after these kids are taken, they're never seen again. Their families never see them, and then we're finding children, like cops are finding children that are like being fucking, they're like sex slaves, children in huge brothels and shit. And you think that any parent should let their child go up that easily to know they'll never be seen again? And most of these kids were never reported missing. Where the fuck do they get them all from?
I don't know, but I will tell you this much. Oh, and just for the purposes of people who were just turning in, I am not the father of Venus's child. That was an example. I'm not. Her and I have never actually met face to face outside of Skype conversation. So I know
Maury,
back in the day,
we need Maury.
See, I know back in the day, AT&T used to, their catchphrase used to be "reach out and touch someone." That doesn't actually work yet.
No, you don't want to do that. That is some Biden shit right there.
Yeah, right. But
Jesus.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, it's definitely something. It falls more into the conspiracy theory realm, because you don't know what they're doing with them outside of like putting them in foster care. And I don't know how it is up there in Canada, but the foster care and the protective services of the United States is absolute fucking garbage.
But how would that be conspiracy? Because you're like, it's taking articles, like you see like actual police busts of these child brothels, and like you're hearing these stories of children being taken away from their families like hours after birth. And if you want to call that conspiracy, I call that like just pointing out facts that actually like add up to make sense.
No. What I'm saying is I'm not disagreeing that there are child brothels. I'm not disagreeing that DHS or child services will take a child with barely probable cause, barely, if any. What I'm saying is that the part that connects the DHS to child brothels or sex peddling, that's where the conspiracy theory lies, because there's nothing there yet in concrete that links the two. That's all I'm saying.
There's no actual proof.
I'm not saying you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying is that there's no tangible evidence, at least not as of yet. All it is speculation.
But okay, come on. Like, we both have common sense enough to say, these kind of add up. So it's a logical connection. I'm not going to be surprised. There's not going to be any investigations into this, where these kids came from or anything. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to investigate that. Why? Because they have to protect their own, and civil servants, social workers, police. Who do you think goes to these brothels and stuff? People like Joe Biden, fucking pedophile, fucking politicians. They're not going to out each other. It's it's a big shit show, and these poor fucking kids. Like, good thing they were found. Like, man, I can just imagine, like, myself, if someone tried to take my baby from me at birth. It's gonna be one hell of a bloody mess. Like, you think that you're going to take my kid and tell me, without probable cause, without a court date or anything, which is actually like your legal rights to have a court date to have your children back. It's actually your legal right to have your baby placed with your family, like your mother. And you're going to tell me that you're going to take my kid? I don't fucking think so.
That's exactly
Prepare to die.
That's exactly it, and you did hit the nail right on the head. One of the reasons that we'll never find out about these things, we'll never connect that dot, is because of the fact that they'll protect their own. I hate to go, back into politics here for a minute, but it's the exact same reason why the left hates Donald Trump. The reason they hate Donald Trump is because he's not in the pockets of everybody else. Everybody else is so afraid that Trump will fucking drain the swamp, because it will trickle down to every single fucking corrupt politician, which, guess what? We already know this, but guess what? All of them are fucking corrupt. All of them. Every single fucking one of them. Every one of them's a fucking pedophile or a money launderer or whatever, what have you. Think of X here, throw a dart at the 7 deadly sins that are listed in the Bible, and every politician has hit every single one of them in one way, shape, or form. Hell, Hillary Clinton has a bigger body count than Vietnam. Oh, sorry.
Oh my God,
excuse me, suicides.
Well, yeah, what's the percentage of the people that have worked for her former employees? It's like, what? Like 83% of them all committed suicide now. Yeah. Okay, I can believe that they all committed suicide if they witnessed some real terrible shit happen. Okay? That's why 80%, 83%. I saw Bill get his dick sucked. No. I had to suck Bill's dick.
Damn.
You see, I can understand some reason to start triggering all of these suicides, but they all have the same thing in common, and it's all that whatever happened with the Clintons was enough to drive these people crazy enough to kill themselves. That, or, like the logical conspiracy theory that everyone's believing is they're out in them themselves.
Oh, yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is that Hillary is putting hits on people that were threatening in some way, shape, or form to expose her shit.
Hillary Clinton eats babies, okay?
You want to know who's running these fucking child sex rings? Her. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
You know what? I honestly wouldn't be either. Okay, so let's look at a few cases here, like when children actually do go missing. Okay, so kids will actually report that a woman will go and talk to them. This actually happened on my kid's street to one of my kid's friends' mom's child, okay? So this woman shows up and starts talking to these kids about not tattletaling and blah, 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 blah. And she get really creepy and then drives off. The next day, some kid, as soon as I heard that, the triggers in my head went off. I'm like, she is scoping shit out. She's scoping these kids out. She's scoping the times that they'll be away from their home. She's learning who's living where and whatnot. She's talking to these kids. Kids are more trusting of women. This is exactly what they do too. You can find police reports on this. Mm-hmm. Women will scope this shit out. And the next day, some kid actually some guy actually in a minivan tried to pull some kid into his minivan, and the kid actually got away, thank God. But the next morning, the same woman's kids that this woman talked to the night before were outside waiting for to catch their bus to go to school, and this fucking same vehicle drives up and starts talking to these kids. And her husband ran outside to see what was up, and he drove off. And this guy's trying to abduct kids, the same ones that this bitch was talking to.
Mm-hmm. No, I believe that. And, and again, years and years and years ago, like in my early 20s, I was living in a not so nice part of Philadelphia. Wasn't necessarily like a bad neighborhood, just it was going downhill. And over by one of the schools in the area, something similar happened, and it actually inspired me to write a song because I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was half drunk watching TV, and it made me think. It's like kids are smart enough nowadays; they know not to accept candy from strangers. We're talking the '90s, folks. They know not to accept candies from strangers and shit like that. So, how are these guys and women doing it? And I wound up writing a song of what I thought they were saying and what they were doing that I called "Where's My Mommy?" Do you know how much shit I took for that song? When I finally released a song with Disillusioned Purity, my last band back in 2007, because I was scared of the song. I fucking shelved it for 20 years. When I finally released it, I wrote a fucking disclaimer intro to the song, like this is not promoting this in any way, shape, or form. This is my points of view, and take it as a warning of what your children may be facing out there. Now, the reason I say that is because for how much shit I took for how dark that song was, now we're having conversations about normalizing pedophilia and child abductions.
Like, I can't even believe it got this far.
What the fuck happened to this world?
To be honest, like, I can't even tell you what happened in this world, because a few years ago, they used to have watchdog lists where you could search up if there are pedophiles living in your area and whereabouts they lived within 6 blocks of you. And now you can't even do that. Registered sex offenders list, they're like banning them because they need to make sure that pedophiles are safe. Are you fucking kidding me? Every kid on my goddamn street needs to be safe. Like, if I'm a mom. If I need to go out and know that your kid is walking home at night from my house, if I need to go stand on the fucking street corner and watch them go 2 houses down to your house, yeah, I'll be doing that.
No, absolutely.
You never fucking know. It takes 2 seconds. You turn around, your kid's gone. Never seen again. That's how easy abductions happen.
Or even worse, is they are seen again, but they've been through some, horrible, strange, traumatizing shit that you got to spend the rest of your life dealing with. And not just you, but they do. But I mean, like, you have to be there for them. And guess what? Again, speaking from a standpoint of somebody who has faced this, luckily my children were too young to remember it, and so far aren't really showing signs of it ever happening. But I live with the knowledge that I failed as a parent. My number one job as a parent is to protect my children, and thanks to a divorce, I wasn't there to protect them. And it doesn't matter the reasons. That's an excuse. In my mind, that's an excuse. At the end of the day, I failed to protect my children.
And you have to live with that for the rest of your life, too.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly
wow.
it. So, it's not just the trauma, which is terrible for the child. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to minimize or take away for the emphasis of how fucked up it is for the child. But if you're a loving, caring parent, it's gonna fuck you up too.
Yeah, like, can you imagine, like, even someone else's kid, like, they leave your house and within 2 houses away, they never make it home. Like, if I would fucking, like, I would seriously die on the inside knowing that, like, I ever let that happen to a child.
Exactly. Back when I was a kid, yes, I'm older. I don't care. Back when I was a kid, neighborhoods actually looked out for one another. Like, I could go outside, and my mom and my grandparents didn't have to sit outside and watch me play or ride my bike because everybody in the neighborhood knew I was the Stolly kid. And if I fucked up or did something wrong, the news would reach my grandparents before I did. Always. Because the neighborhood watched out for each other. They watched for, we watched for their kids. They watched for me. Nowadays, everybody's too busy sticking their nose in their goddamn phones or computers to actually pay attention to their own kids while they're off other kids in the neighborhood. And I think that's a big thing lost.
Right.
There's an old catchphrase, it takes a village. Well, in this type of scenario, the rise of abductions and molestations and all the things that are happening on our streets is because of the decline of community that used to be there.
Not only that, with the pushing of this pedophilia shit, more and more people are thinking that it's more and more acceptable. But wait until it happens to your kid. Like, I had an argument with one mom who's like, yeah, it should be allowed, and like, they could get help and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you have a 3-year-old fucking son, and you're going to tell me that it's socially acceptable for a fucking pedophile to live next door to you, and you're going to be all fucking nice with him? Wait until something does happen. And God forbid something ever does happen. But yeah, sure, there are people too. I could even understand the point where, someone has this, like, what do you call it? Even a fetish. The fetish for children. And you know what? They stay the fuck away from them. Okay? Fine. No problem. You've never hurt a child before in your life. You don't intend to. You know you have a problem. You go get help for it. Nothing ever happens. You minimize your risk to people. I'm still not trusting you with my fucking child. But fine, if you can fucking behave properly, I don't see why I would make an issue. Just stay the fuck away from my children.
No, that's absolutely true. But I mean, there's also like you were talking about earlier about, like, people can't change their sexual orientation. I said, pedophilia is a sickness. I have a perfect example. Like, I understand that people are attracted to things, particular things. I met a girl at a bus stop one time, and she was hitting on me pretty good. And I mean, she was pretty nice. She was attractive and stuff, so I'm talking back until I turned around and asked her how old she was. And she told me she was 13. I was like, oh, bye. She didn't look 13 in any way, shape, or form. She looked 21. And I was 25 at the time. Okay?
Wow.
But as soon as I found out what age she was, it's like, yeah, run on home to mommy. Get away from me, you dirty girl. Because she knew what she was doing. There are girls out there, and I'm sure guys too, little boys, that know the game, and they try to entrap people in. But more often than not, the point that I was trying to get to it is, if you're a decent human being, regardless of whether you see something attractive, and I say something because we're attracted to cars, we're attracted to video games, we're attracted to particular looks in people. It catches our eye.
If they're attracted to it.
Right, it catches our eye or something like that. That's all well and good. But if you find out that's something that's off limits, then rationally you say, no, that's not okay. An illness like a pedophilia is, okay, that works for me. No, it doesn't work for you. It works for you? A fucking bullet.
Like, keep your damn hands to your fucking self. Like, it's not that hard. You could have so many things wrong with you. Like, you could have mental illnesses. It doesn't mean you're going to act on them. You could be bipolar, schizophrenia, and you could, like, I know it's hard for someone with schizophrenia to differentiate between real and what's in their head, but if you work on it and you get the proper help to do it, you can start realizing, like, no, that's fucking buddy in my head, and you don't act on these crazy things. If you know right from wrong, which is not hard to do, and your fucking alter ego is telling you to go kill someone, You could say no.
Well, see that.
You don't have to kill them. You can live with this like mental illness forever and never do anything wrong.
See, that's something. That's something going back a little earlier to something you said about like the reason that pedophilia is starting to get normalized and given a new label is because they're trying to encourage pedophiles to out themselves so they could seek help. You know what? I am fine with the idea of giving pedophiles help. I really am. I know I've been very violent towards them, and yes, I do incite violence towards pedophiles in every way, shape, or form. They're not human beings in my mind, especially ones that have actually touched or harmed children. But regardless of which, where was I going with this? Oh, if we were talking about like anonymously going to a mental hospital and saying, "Look, I'm attracted to minors and I need help." Great, do that. That's an awesome thing. Get on the pills. Get yourself fucking programmed right, wired right. Great, do that. But trying to make it like it's a normal thing in society and it's okay to be attracted to minors, no, it is fucking not.
Or you know what? Have the decency. Like, okay, let's say I have a neighbor named Bill. And Bill's a great neighbor and stuff. And, I see him around and it's always, hey, hi, how's it going? And one day my kids end up on his lawn or something, playing in his yard. And Bill comes to me and says, look, I don't want your kids playing in my yard. I have an attraction to minors. I do have the potential to hurt them. Keep them away from me, please. I'd be like, wow, no fucking problem. And I would still say hi to Bill. Oh, hey, Bill, how's it going? Nice day. Okay, cool. Hop in my car and drive off. But like, I would appreciate that from Bill. Like, Bill could be like, I've never hurt a child. I think about it. I want to do it. Your children are not safe around me. I'd be like, fine, Bill. All right. Like, thanks for the heads up. My kids will not be going to your place. Like, as a parent, I would so appreciate that.
Yeah, well, if I had a next door neighbor named Bill who was like that, I'd be Donald Trump in half a minute. I'm going to build a wall and it just got 10 feet higher.
But you know what? Like, if Bill could be like a.
I work for a fencing company. Yeah. That fence would be long, tall, and impenetrable.
But like Bill coming up to me and having the decency to tell me that, yes, I pose a risk to your children. Like I'm not even saying like pedophiles are always bad people like on the streets or anything. I'm an adult. Bill's not going to hurt me. Bill could hurt my children. Bill told me this. Okay, that's socially acceptable. Bill hurts my child now. He's going to be warned. Yes, thanks, for giving me the heads up. I'm telling you now, you're going to be buried in your front yard if you ever hurt my child. But like that, okay, that's more so like any parent could say that's more acceptable to be like, thanks for the heads up, Bill.
Well, no, I would appreciate a heads up, but I would not be as tolerant as you. I would be demanding that he be removed from the neighborhood. He should not be living with kids. In fact, I think if we're going to out them, we should give them their own communities away from normal people. Give them some, we used to build projects back in the day for veterans and their families. We used to build projects back in the day for low-income families. Build projects for pedophiles. Give them their own neighborhood where they're not intermixing with our children in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's acceptable as well.
I would prefer
to know if
Bill's heads up, but at the same time, I would not be, hey, okay, Bill, I'm cool with you for telling me. No, it's okay. You stay the fuck away from me and my family. This is your only warning.
But, I'm also a mom, so, there's some decency that, I have to, instill in my kids, and without scaring the fuck out of them, that, Bill's a bad person. It's like, you know what? You close your blinds at night. You do stuff like that. And you know what? You learn how to protect yourself in life a bit. You keep the doors locked at all times when I'm not here. You do not answer the door for anyone. And you know what? These are simple skills that your kids are going to have to learn when they grow up. They never know if there's going to be a Bill around. Bill could be anyone and you'll never know. But if you know that Bill is fucked up in the head, then you can start preparing your children for stuff like that.
Well, see, you're leading into something that I think we definitely should talk about, especially for the final 20 minutes of the show here, is some of the warning signs, some of the things that we should be teaching our children, because, like you said, it can happen in an instant. You take your eyes away for 1 second and it could happen. Even in your own backyard, whether off the times that you don't see your kids, like school or out with their friends or things. So what should we be teaching them? What are some of the warning signs? What are some of the things that they should know and do, especially in this modern time? In fact, we can add in the fact of social media stalkers and fucking pedophiles.
Well, I think we should always keep in mind that Bill could literally be your next door neighbor. You could be Bill for all I know. I'm not saying you're Bill, but I mean, when it comes to your children, you have to start assuming that anyone could be Bill. And Bill's not going to say, I have the potential to do this. Maybe Bill might, okay, but like anyone could be the secret Bill.
Right.
Who's not going to tell you shit. Your new boyfriend could be a Bill, okay? And I'm sorry to all Bills out there, okay? I'm not hating on you guys. It was just like the first name that came to mind.
It's the name we attached to for this conversation.
Yeah. Well, we can make him Donald if we want, but I'll stick with Bill.
I say Richard.
So, Richard's a dick name, so yeah, sure.
There you go. I know a couple Richards that I still question, so let's do that. Let's switch it to Richard.
So, your boyfriend could be this person. Your dad could be this person. We have so many stories of pedophile incest rapes that happen to children. Lots of them happen within families, okay? That could be anyone.
You know what? And you bring up another good thing here. On this show especially, but on many shows, I'm usually the guy that's defending men. You know, especially against the feminist movement and everything else. And 9 times out of 10, I'm sitting there like, oh, it's bullshit, and men are this and that and everything else too. In this particular situation, it is far more likely. I'm thinking like 90% to 10%, far more likely that the pedophile is a male. There are some females you hear about them, like teachers diddling their students and stuff like that. There are some females, but more often than not, it is men. It
is. And they are, more often than not, it's someone that you know that will be molesting your child. Especially family members. It is so weird that you have to worry about, your uncle fucking whatever his name is, Uncle Donald or Uncle Ben or whatever. But these people
not
are
Uncle
more
Ben. God, you're ruining Spider-Man for me.
It's weird, but you know what? It makes sense, because if these people are fucked up in that way, they have access to your children, their family. They can keep secrets with Uncle What's-His-Face, right? Or, with Grandpa whatever. And they're more inclined to. So I guess pedophiles feel more safe if it was their niece or nephew. No. Believe it or not, okay. As if I just said that, I'm not even wrong. But so you have to protect your children from everyone, okay, in this time of age, especially when it's becoming more normalized. Your neighbor, okay, the guy that cuts your lawn might fucking be a pedophile who sticks something in your kid's bedroom window so he could sneak in at night, grab your fucking child, and leave with your child. You really have to expect that anyone could do this. Not that everyone will, but you have to keep a certain, guards up. Jesus fuck. No, so I need a breath after all that.
No, it's the truth. And I mean,
I know, it's just upsetting.
Even on social media. How many of us have friends that we don't know the person? We don't really know the person. There's somebody who sent us a friend request and they looked semi-normal. So, okay, yeah, great. And say you're a person who allows your child to be on social media. You're an idiot, first off. But second off, that person's now going to friend your child. And, of course, the child not thinking anything. Oh, more friends, yay. And then all of a sudden, here comes the private messages. And then next thing you know, even innocently, maybe this person is actually a nice person, didn't know that your child's social media page was a child's page, thought they were talking to, an adult woman or whatever, and guys being guys sent a dick pic. Because men do that. So even if it's not intentional pedophilia, your child just got exposed to something they don't need to see. You have to monitor. You have to keep track of this. This is called being a parent. If you're not prepared to be a parent, don't run off and get an abortion. Don't fucking get pregnant. If you're not ready to take the responsibility of raising and protecting that child, don't get pregnant.
Here's the big problem with kids on social media too. Kids with Instagram accounts, YouTube channels and stuff. There are so many famous kids on YouTube and everything, and their moms and dads help them make channels, whether it be like DIYs or just like random stuff like, oh, we're the Tanner family and stuff like that. These kids all want to be famous, okay? My 9-year-old daughter wants to be famous. Mm-hmm. She wants to make YouTube videos and become a famous YouTuber. These kids are inclined to do this. They're not thinking about who they are accepting to follow them or who's watching their videos. They're not thinking of this because they want the fame. And you know what? All of social media is like exposing them to this, like to become famous. It's like a famous blogger, vlogger, whatever. They all want this. No, social media is doing it to our children.
No, you're absolutely not wrong. And platforms like YouTube are a perfect place for somebody to become famous without, like back in the day, you had to be a musician or you had to be an actor.
Like Justin Bieber.
or something. Justin Bieber has no talent. But you had to be somebody who broke into the entertainment industry. Now you can start a YouTube channel and buy a webcam. It is literally that easy, and then if you're good with promotion, sooner or later you'll have the hits, you'll have the likes, you'll have the fame. It's the way it works, and it's so simple for people. But the problem is you don't really have control over who subscribes to your channel. You don't have control over who sees your videos on YouTube. So guess what? You putting your child on there or sexualizing your child, yes, I'm looking at you, Desmond. This is wrong because it's not the transgender community that's watching them that's the issue. It's like somebody like Desmond. It's not somebody whose family watching them that's the issue. It's that creepy fucker who's jerking off to your videos over and over and over again that you don't know about.
To your child's videos that you're letting them put up, and you want them as a parent, you want your kid to be able to keep up with what everyone's doing, and you think it's innocent enough because all their friends are doing it. We should be able to have that safety mentality where it's like, yeah, it's a kid thing, blah blah blah. But okay, then look at Momo who got to children through YouTube. Here's another thing I'm going to fucking bitch about right fucking now because I am tired of seeing this shit. If you have a fucking toddler and you are posting pictures of your toddler on Facebook, on Instagram, or anywhere, especially little girls, with their fucking tops off, you're a fucking problem.
You're part of the problem. Again, it's even if it's innocent, back in the day, you think about it my mom did it to me. When I was a kid when I was a young adult, I'd bring a girl home to meet her and shit like that, and out come the fucking family photos, and there's always one of me in the bathtub, as a child, or getting my ass diapered or something like that, the embarrassing photo. That's great in the middle of the house with my mom and my, soon-to-be ex-girlfriend or whatever else, but not on social fucking media. You know what I mean? For the world to see. You are inadvertently, you are sexualizing your child. Because of the fact that even though you did it innocently to get your family and friends to go, oh, how cute, again, it's that creepy fucker in the corner beating off to that picture.
Exactly. You're putting your children up there to be fucking sexualized by some creepy fucking bill. And there's most parents find nothing wrong with this. And I'm like, do you know how many fucking pedophiles there are? I can go through a lot of girls' fucking friends list and be like, yeah, there's like guaranteed at least one pedophile out of 500 of your friends. And you are posting your fucking half naked fucking 4-year-old with her shirt off and her diaper thinking it's cute, not realizing that your friend, your actual Facebook friend, is a fucking child predator. You're putting your child at risk.
Well, you know what? It goes back to another argument that the feminists did a long time ago, where, like, you know, you've heard the arguments about, like, the rape culture, quote-unquote rape culture and everything else, where one of the arguments was like, well, maybe women, if they don't want to be objectified, they shouldn't dress so scantily. And, of course, the response is, well, maybe men should be taught not to rape. Guess what, sweetheart? Most of us are. But there's still the ones...
There's still the pedophiles that will know where you live now because you post your location on Facebook. They know what time your child goes to sleep. They know when you go to work. They know your routine and stuff because you friended them and you put your child up there to be exposed to them.
And you're putting it right there with everything else that I was stating, like whether it's the abortion issue, whether it's the rape culture issue, and I'm quotationing because there is no rape culture, or the pedophilia issue. Part of the problem is not the fact that there are pedophiles or rapers or people who have no regard for human life. The problem is that we're not taking responsibility to take preventative steps to keep this from happening. Now, yes, the ultimate solution is to put the bullet in the brain of every fucking pedophile on the planet. That would solve the problem, absolutely. But you know what? For some reason, that's still illegal. So, we have to take our steps to protect and guard our children. It starts with you guys, Mom and Dad.
Exactly. And you know what? Like, if it was at the point where you were posting these pictures and, you know, you have a private group with your aunt and your fucking cousin and you guys are posting your baby pictures together, only family gets in, that's fine. But when you're posting your child on Instagram, your 4-year-old with her shirt off in a diaper, the whole world sees that if it's not a private account.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. Like things like Facebook, you can actually protect your pictures or whatever or videos to certain people. Like on the occasions that I'll share something for my family, it goes to my family only. The rest of you fuckers can't see it. Some things I'll only share to my friends and family. People who are randoms or friends of friends, you don't see it. And then there's things like this show that will get shared out to everybody because I want everybody to fucking see it. You can make those settings. So if you want to share that little baby picture of your daughter, you know, making a poop face in a diaper to your mom, then send it to your mom. Don't post it for the rest of the world.
No, definitely not. Like, as parents, like, wow. Some of you just, like, get right under my fucking skin with how much you don't realize you're putting your kids at risk. You drive me fucking nuts. I'm tired of seeing your exposed children knowing there's fucking sickos in the world. I know you may not realize it, but now you're realizing it because you've just been fucking told.
Well, the thing
there's
is
not much more to it.
Again, so many people, whether you want to talk about, again, the abortion issue, the rape issue, or whatever, the biggest issue you always hear from somebody is like, well, why should I have to? I can live my life however I want. It's somebody else has to fucking learn to not do this and not do. Take responsibility. That's the problem.
They're called predators.
They're called predators. They're looking for prey. They're looking for prey.
Exactly.
What prey gets eaten? The one that's dumb enough to stick their head out while everybody else is hiding. Okay? There's a reason why parents are expected to be responsible adults because of the fact that you are responsible for this young person who is not responsible for themselves. They don't know anything. My child thinks he wants to grow up to be fucking Super Mario. He don't know shit.
So does mine.
He don't know shit. I have to protect him until he does know. I have to teach him till he does know. That's my job. That's my responsibility. It doesn't matter how I think it should be. It's the problem is this is how it is, so I have to adapt and be responsible for my child.
Like, I would fucking hate, because, like, lots of these kids, like, lots of, like, the friends' moms on my Facebook, a lot of your children are friends with my children. I don't even know how the fuck I'd be able to tell my child if anything ever happened to their friend, because your child was exposed, got preyed upon, taken, never seen again, you know, anything bad happened to your child. Like, that's concerning to me. Like, your child does not have to go through that. My child and everyone else's children do not have to deal with the loss of a friend because you're too fucking stupid to fucking protect your child.
The thing is not everything in this world has to be a statement. Some things are very simple, and when it comes to child rearing, it's the simplest thing on the planet, is do the right thing by your children. Once you become a mother or a father, it is not about you, your feelings, your points of view. It is about them, and you have to
your popularity contest. That's a big one.
I don't want to make it sound dark or evil, but all the things you used to give a shit about are gone. Now the only thing you should be caring about is what's best for the child and doing whatever is necessary to give the best to your child. If that necessity is putting filters on their YouTube channel or taking the TV away from them or not sharing half-naked pictures of them or even you know, two-piece bikinis on the toddler or something like that, then be the responsible adult and don't fucking do that. It's that simple. It is really that simple. What is in the best interest of the child? They are number one priority, not what you think the world should be.
Exactly. Keep your kids fucking safe. If you're an anti-vax parent, you should fucking know better if you're so concerned about your child getting fucking autism from a fucking vaccine. Your child could be fucking molested, kidnapped, and everything else from a fucking picture. You should have this common sense by now.
And again, I will reiterate, as a parent, again, not diminishing what happens to the child, but as a parent, there is no worse feeling in this world than knowing something terrible has happened to your child and you failed to protect them. And you do live with that the rest of your life. Yeah,
that is true as fuck. My sister was she was murdered when she was 15 years old. And my dad never lived that up. After she was murdered, he pretty much just went downhill because he couldn't protect his child. So think about that. He ended up with cancer and everything, like. And I'm not saying the cancer was like psychologically related to losing his daughter. That we could argue about anyways. But things can happen.
Well, the cancer was basically coincidental, but his refusal to fight it and be a survivor, that was him.
Well, I can argue I honestly think that cancer is can be self-induced. When you've hit a low of depression where you're ready to give up on life, your life will give up on you.
That's fair.
But that's how I saw it from my eyes. When he found out he had cancer, though, he wasn't even surprised by it, and he's just like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna die now," and that was it. Like 5 years, not even 5 years after my sister passed away, he passed away. So.
Well, hey, I mean, you know, you hear about it all the time in different scenarios. Like, my grandparents are a perfect example. My grandfather died of a heart attack at 69 years old while he was out at a restaurant for a meeting for the youth group that he took care of. You know, he had a heart attack in the bathroom and, you know, passed away. A year later, my grandmother followed him from an
Yeah,
abdominal
well,
aneurysm.
oh wow,
Sometimes
they
you
have
just,
those?
huh?
I've never heard of that before.
Oh yeah, she had an aneurysm in her abdomen that popped on her one day. I was coming home from training, and she was in the restroom, and she begged me to call an ambulance. She said something wasn't right. Well, I called an ambulance. They took her to the hospital. By the next morning, she was dead.
Wow.
And
And like
it was almost exactly a year later. So sometimes you just give up.
exactly. And like parents, if you think that like you're being okay, let me just say it like it is. You're being selfish now with your little popularity contest of posting your fucking child and exploiting them for your fucking social media fucking likes and crap. If anything did ever happen to your child and you found out that it was because somebody was stalking your Facebook account to get to your child, here's how selfish you need to be. You will die, like, of depression and stuff, knowing that you could have prevented this. Like, this is a poor, innocent fucking child. And it, like, the blood's on your hands, more or less. Keep your children fucking safe. You will not regret it later on.
We really can't reiterate that enough. It's your responsibility. No, your child's not going to protect themselves. Well, they will if you do your responsibility and teach them to protect themselves. And guess what? The best way to teach a child is through example.
Exactly.
That's really all I can say on it. Besides fucking murder all pedophiles, that's how I feel. It's not a call to arms. Don't take it as I'm telling everybody to go fucking kill some people. Although I would applaud you if you did. I'm not calling for it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be mad if somebody did it. But the fact of the matter is at the end of the day, this problem is not going to go away by normalizing it, and it's certainly not going to go away by ignoring it. We have to be the catalysts, and the only way to be the catalysts is educate yourself on the problem, take the preventative steps to keep your children out of those situations, and teach your kids the warning signs, what to look out for, and how to protect themselves.
Exactly. Oh, makes me think, wow, we really have to do a show directed to children. This is how you stay safe. Okay, stranger danger, stuff like that. Because mommy and daddy might be fucking idiots at times. And yes, parents, I did call some of you fucking idiots. Some of you just piss me right off with how much you do this to your children and not even have a care in the world. So.
Oh, you want one? I'll give you one today. A friend of mine in California just blocked me. Well, no longer a friend. Just blocked me on Facebook because we were having a conversation, and I felt that mothers do not have the right to block fathers from their children. You don't have a right. Now, there's exceptions to the rule that the father's a rapist or a pedophile or a murderer. Sure, but if you just think he's a bad guy, the children still have a right to know their father. She disagreed with me on this, and because I felt that a man has a right to know his children, she blocked me for it.
Wow. And how much exposure does she give of her children to the entire world? And she can't let the dad be a part of the life? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how much exposure she gives to the entire world. Look, but, being a single mommy and proud and blah, 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 I can just imagine.
Well, look, she may be right. The father may be a piece of shit. I don't know the father. Okay, and I'm not trying to say I do know the father. All I'm saying is if he's not a rapist and he's not a fucking murderer or he's not a fucking child diddler, then he has a right to know his child, or at least his children have a right to know who the fuck he is. You don't have a right to keep that from them.
No, if he's a terrible person, though, yes, keep them safe. But no, just because you don't like the guy, guess what? You fucking had kids with this loser. Deal with it. I have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to deal with it. And you know what? Get over yourself. Because that man is going to be there for your children for the rest of their lives to help protect them with you. And you know what? It's going to work better in a partnership if you can at least have some ground rules regarding your children. Because at least you know he's going to have your fucking back. He'll take the bullet for you, mama, if something happens to your children. He'll be there.
Oh, and it even counts for separated and divorced parents. Look, my fucking ex-wife is a scumbag, and anybody who knows me knows my ex-wife is a fucking scumbag. But I will always be there for my children and do whatever it takes for my children. And I will, even if that means working with my scumbag ex-wife for the sake of my children. That's just being an adult.
That's what you have to do. You made children. You have to partake in their lives sometimes.
Mm-hmm. You know, so there's the days of excuses are over, parents. Be a fucking parent.
Look out for your children.
Exactly.
I can't say that enough because I just want to yell it at every single one. I can't name names or anything, but every single one of you who know that feel that I'm talking to you, I'm fucking talking to you.
Yeah, but
that's a guilty feeling you're having.
That I was about to say that everybody who doesn't like what we're saying, you're part of the problem. You're who we're addressing.
Yep. And if you have a problem with it, fight me.
If you're a pedophile who thinks I'm being unfair, fuck you. If you're a parent who thinks, fuck you, I'll do what I want, my child is my little superstar, you know, my honey boo-boo, you're part of the problem. Not that I want to see anything happen to your child, but it's probably going to happen.
Like, support your children, parents. Like, support them. When they're, like, doing dance recitals and stuff, yeah, support them. They're your little superstars. Don't exploit them. There's a big difference between exploiting and supporting them.
And guess what? Here's another thing, too. Can we talk about this a minute? These people who want to live vicariously through their children, put them into fucking pageants or you know, whatever the case may be. Let kids be fucking kids, okay? I don't care what your dreams. My dreams were to be a fucking musician, okay? I wanted to be the big fucking rock star, the tour buses, the girls, the millions of fucking dollars, you know, seeing the world and rocking out and everything else. Guess what? It didn't happen. I have no intentions of forcing that life on my children. And if they happen to have any type of aptitude for that, I sure as shit would not be allowing them at a young age and managing them into that type of lifestyle. I want my children to be children.
Exactly. If I wasn't pregnant right now, I'd be training for wrestling. Okay. No word of a lie, but guess what? Here I am pregnant, and you know what? Now I've got to make others' life choices. Okay. Like now, yeah. There's no going back now. It's like, well, you know, maybe I'll start going like to gyms and stuff, and you know, start fucking training. Once this baby's born, he could grow up by the side of the ring with me if he wants. That's up to him.
Oh, absolutely.
That's up to situations. I mean, I'm not disregarding anything from my life at this point. Like, you don't just give up on your dreams. And I used to be like a 7-year-old girl watching WWF. Yeah, when it was the World Wrestling Federation, okay, this was my fucking dream. And I actually had the opportunity to do that, and lo and behold, a month later, it's like, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, fuck my life. No, it's just on hold, okay? You can still be all the superstar fucking parent you want to be on weekends if your mom babysits your kid, you know. There's nothing you can't do with a child, okay? But you need to let your children live a little bit too.
No, absolutely. And if they have aspirations to be a pro wrestler when they get older, a musician when they get older, a fucking fireman or a policeman when they get older, support that shit. That's fine.
Exactly.
But don't try to live vicariously through their careers. Don't start their careers early because you want to be the spectacular mama or papa of this star athlete or runway model or, you know, I'm going back to that Desmond kid. You know, those things that's exploiting your child. That is
Be
exploiting
an
your child, and
inspiration to them.
you know
Like,
that is not healthy for the child, and it's certainly not good in the social media circuit because it puts your child right in the sights of pedophiles.
it does. Like, be an inspiration to them. Like, my daughter knew how much, I was supposed to start training and everything, and my daughter knew how much that meant to me. Like, we sat there, and she's never seen wrestling in her life, and I'm like, okay, check out this World Wrestling Championship, Women's Championship between Lita and Trish Stratus, and she's like, holy fuck, you want, well, she didn't say holy fuck, but she's like, holy, like, you want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, and like, I was ready to do that and stuff. It's like, well, mommy can't now. But that doesn't mean mom's giving up on her dreams of ever doing that. Like, hell yeah.
Oh, you're young enough. You can
I
still
can
do it
still,
after you pop out that kid, and I don't know if you're done with procreating or not, but once you
oh, hell no. I want an army of kids.
well once you're bodily repaired from giving birth and gotten yourself back in shape, and the child's old enough to be left with a responsible, trusted adult, go to training. Hell, come down to the United States. I'm a professional trainer.
See,
I'll
there you
train
go.
you. Clothing
Like,
optional. No.
yeah, like parents, come on. Like, there's so many other ways to motivate your children, and just believing in yourself is going to rub off on them. You don't need to exploit them. You need to do it for yourself and do things by yourself for yourself, not live through your children.
No, not
I
at
know
all.
it's easy to manipulate a child and have them do what you want, and if you don't put your arm exactly that way while you're doing this ballet, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And they listen, but you know what? You need to direct that energy towards yourself. If you want to post a picture of your child, make it decent. If you want to, like, anything like that, you and your daughter got matching swimsuits. That is so cute. Okay, yes, make that for your friends. Don't publicize that all.
No.
Just for the followers and just for everything else. You are going to damage your children.
Well,
You
again,
have the potential to damage your children.
let's put it out there. Let's put it this way. For every picture, I'm going to use Venus as an example. For every picture of her in a bikini, there's a creep fucking spanking to that picture. Now think about every picture you put up of your child. There's some fucking predator out there.
Yeah, there's a lot less like pedophiles than there are just like horny, creepy dudes in the world. But I mean, considering like your child's so young, even one exploitation can be hazardous to them. If this guy decides that he's in love with your child, and he can't just sit there and jerk off behind his computer screen, he's going to want more. Mm-hmm. This is what men do to us women. Men will jerk off to our pictures for so long before they start making advances towards us. Where like you're an adult as a woman, like you know what to look for and everything. But now imagine this, like,
some of us wind up giving you podcasts,
right?
No, but no, she's absolutely right. There's a fine line. Yes, as a woman, you've got guys that are admiring you from a distance, and I'm being polite when I say admiring. They're getting filthy with your pictures, but that's good enough for them. That might be good enough for them. Or you get the guy that goes a little bit further and sends you a dick pic and a private message. Creepy, but
or to shows up outside your house.
That's the ones you got to worry about, and it depends on when that person decides to cross that line. Now, let's put the extra danger on it. It's not you, it's your child. And your child's not going to fucking know better. You will.
Yeah, and, if you're not teaching them about the dangers of, not locking their bedroom window at night or closing their blinds, you can have a creeper in the bushes outside. It's not unheard of. I'm actually saying this because it's actually quite heard of. And we see it a lot, like in like documentaries about predators and everything. Take a moment and watch a few. Like, these guys will stalk them. They are little. They really don't know better. Protect your children.
Exactly. But we are over time, Miss Venus.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for tonight then.
Guys, I'm sorry we made this one a little dark, but it's something that needed to be said. That's not, coining a phrase for the show. This is something that is becoming way too common in mainstream media right now, of normalization of something like pedophilia, and we need to take steps to stop that from happening. And the biggest thing, again, I can't stress it enough, is education and caution.
Exactly. And now parents are aware. These are probably things you didn't think of that we brought up. Now you know, and you could be upset about it, but guess what? You're fight me on it. We're not wrong on this shit. So, with that being said, you can find me on Facebook, Venus Chan. We can argue there. Or you can check out my Facebook page, Realm of the Mist presents It Had to Be Said with Venus. I should be back this Thursday with the Tinfoil Hat Society. And I believe we'll be back next Monday with Realm of the Mist.
No,
you can follow me on Instagram too.
It'll be Wednesday next week because of Monday will be War of the Stars. It's the unfortunate off week next week for War of the Stars.
Yeah, we're all busy with our lives. We're all having babies and everything. Congratulations to Keith, by the way.
Oh yeah, we gotta take a moment before we say out of here. We have had we've had 2 babies thus far here in Realm of the Mist. First we had
3.
Kevin Hunter had his child with his wife, and now Keith has spawned a child of Satan. Future gamer.
Christina just had a new nephew too.
Yes, Chris. Okay, 3 babies because Christina just had a nephew.
3 babies.
And you're due soon.
I am.
Man, we're gonna Realm of the Mist is gonna have to start a daycare.
Okay, that's like my dream come true also. So
why not? We'll go with it.
Exactly. So yeah, we're all kind of busy. Yeah, we're all kind of busy, and we're all kind of catching up on life, and our lives are changing. So Realm of the Mist has been pretty scattered recently.
And I do apologize because one of the biggest issues with Realm of the Mist being as scattered as it is me. I started a new job. It's had very fucked up hours, and as such, I've been trying to get us back on a schedule that I'm the primary recorder of the shows. And whether I'm on the shows or not, I'm the guy that usually records them. So I've got to figure out my schedule to be able to do it, and that coincides with the shows and the hosts and everything else. So bear with us. We're getting it in order. We're getting the schedules refixed. We are going to get back on our daily schedules. I promise you.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's just adjusting at this point, which is fine. It's summertime. No one's staying inside and listening to this bullshit anyway. So everyone's out enjoying the summer. That's where we're going to be mostly probably a lot of the summer too. So
that's true.
Hey, it only comes once a year. And before you know it, it's over.
Sounds like my love life.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, guys, you can find me anywhere Realm of the Mist is, whether it's Realm of the Mist podcast, here with It Had to Be Said with Venus, or on War of the Stars, the Star Wars podcast. And of course, don't forget, we're coming up with a new gaming show very soon, hosted by Ray, our Chronicle Dungeon Master, where we will be playing Dungeons and Dragons in a made-up world of our own called Chronicles of the Lost Realm. So make sure you check that out. That's coming very, very soon.
We're playing that? That sounds like fun, actually.
Everybody who wants to talk to Ray?
I've never played that before in my life. So, is this like a video thing that you guys are doing?
Paper, pencil, dice, and imagination.
So no costumes or anything. Come on.
I mean, you could wear a costume.
I'm so in if we could do costumes and videos and stuff.
You could do costumes. We don't have to do video, but you could do costumes. We'll watch.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Just like the dick
pic.
Now just like the dick pic I just sent, that I said is on radio. You could costume up any way you please, and we'll just describe it to the listeners.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm so on the fence right now, but I swear if there was costumes and video and stuff, I'm so guaranteed in. But now you got me like, meh, it doesn't sound as fun.
Well, it depends on who's watching, which would be us.
I'm sure a lot of people would watch, honestly, just to be like, what the fuck is Venus gonna wear today?
You're not wrong. The rest of us are just going to look like fat, sweaty people, and then Venus is going to be all sexed out, and we're all just even the players will be sitting there just watching her. We're supposed to be playing a game, aren't we?
I just bought a new black jeweled crown and stuff, which I've had no occasion to wear it to because I pretty much just sit at home all day and sleep and eat. But I'm like, well, that would be perfect accessory.
Wear it while you're on the toilet. Wear it while you're on the toilet. Then you'll be the queen on the porcelain throne.
You don't even know how prepared I am for shit like this, okay? Some people prepare for zombie apocalypses. I prepare for dress up.
There you go. Look, I'm just saying, right. I could survive a zombie apocalypse because I don't have to be faster than a zombie. I just have to be faster than everybody else around me. Right?
Wait, wrestling moves, just throw them the fucking smackdown and get going.
That's it, yeah. I don't have to be faster than the guy chasing me. I just got to be faster than the person in front of me.
Yep. All right. Well, with that being said, I think we're out. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll be back whenever the fuck we get the time to be back.
Well, we'll be back next Tuesday. Guys, have a good night.
Why didn't the Three Little Pigs go in for some kind of flat share scheme?
Does Jesus get to choose which wine he turns it into?
Why don't Sims have the upper body strength to climb out of a swimming pool?
And does everybody really want to be a cat?
I'm Will Bacon.
And I'm Alex Prescott.
And if you're the type of person that overthinks these deep philosophical questions, then Think to the Brink is the podcast for you.
From Disney characters to song lyrics, debates to social etiquette, tune in every for your dose of paralysis by analysis.
All topic suggestions are welcome. If you can think it, we can overthink it. Think to the Brink. Available on all podcast platforms.
Hey everyone, this is John Tolley, inviting you to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. Each week, me and my co-host Christopher Stolley discuss the news surrounding the largest movie franchises in the world. So join us every Wednesday at 8 Eastern as we travel to the galaxy far, far away, right here, Anchor FM, and wherever fine podcasts are heard.
When you need CBD, vape juice, or a new mod, go to Vape Scorpion. 10859 Boston Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19116. They are formerly known as East Coast Vapor. They have all your needs, all equipment, all the juice. And hey, while you're there, sit down, enjoy a beer, bring home, and just hang out with a bunch of cool people. If you need your next vape machine, or maybe just try a locally made, make sure you hit up Vape Scorpion. That's 1085 Boston Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19116. Or give a call to 215-464-8273. Oh yeah, and make sure you let them know that Realm of the Mist Entertainment sent you.
He said that she said, how dare you say that? That's offensive. Well, someone's gotta say it. It had to be said with Venus. Catch the live show Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the recordings at any time. Guest shows weekly. Listener, beware. Mature content, sexual content, trigger warning. Do you dare say it?
Hi, my name's Chris. And I'm here to tell Realm of Mist podcast. Realm of Mist about all the great entertainment from movies, music, comic books, and many other forms of entertainment. as well as current events and just general having. If you're looking for a podcast up your alley, look no further than Realm of Mist Podcast here on FM or where podcasts can be heard.
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We are right next to Northeast Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, albums, and CDs, graphic novels, other knickknacks, and, of course, comics. Established in 1985, we are your go-to store. Come by and say hello, and say that the guys from Radiocast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
Three-eyed turtle? Is that alright?
What the fuck is a three-eyed turtle?
Who wants mustache ride? Are you tired of the same old podcasts with no humor? Well, join us for After Hours for everything is funny, at least to us, on Anchor.fm and where quality podcasts are heard.
How the fuck did we get on this?
I don't know.
Fucking FCC started this shit. It's their fucking fault.
Hey everyone, this is Dak.
This is Liam.
And this is White People Shit.
We are a bi-weekly podcast.
Whoa. Maybe you're weak. I'm straight and strong.
It means twice a week, you douche.
Oh. Yeah, listen to us twice a week. On White People Wednesdays, we talk about gay stuff, zombies, superhero sex position.
And on Featured People, we interview the Featured People of the Week. Search GPS podcast.
We're on Apple Picture, Spot, YouTube, anywhere else you get your podcast.
Eat the humor. If your feelings get hurt and you're offended, you can always
eat a dick.